Good morning, good morning. Nau mai, hara mai, ki tēnei kouhou tui hono. Welcome to today's Vibe.fyi webinar, where you'll get the first look at the new and improved Playlist Manager. Cue applause. My name is Aroha Ayerst, and I'm the Customer Success Lead here at Vibe, and your webinar speaker for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Over the next 15 or so minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, it will be my pleasure to share some exciting updates with you and then open the floor for Q&A. So let's get into it, shall we? While you take it all in, let me take you through all the new bells and whistles here in the list view. Now, for those of you who are copywriters and editors, I am aware that this is spelt incorrectly, the word office. So stay tuned to find out how to rename playlists, which is something that you can do in this upgrade. So in the list view, you now have customizable avatars, a handy slide tally, and the playlist view options, so you can jump straight into previewing your content. The copy link option gives you a temporary URL to preview your playlist in a browser. You'll see that when you click that option, it will tell you that there's an expiry on that link. So if you need a new link, just come back here and copy it again. And once you hit that copy button, you can go ahead and email out the link or open up the playlist in a new browser tab and go ahead and watch all the content that you've currently got set to publish in your playlist. Now with full screen, the second option, this uses the inbuilt Webview Player. Once all of this is available to you after the upgrade, you will notice that the web view may no longer appear in the left-hand side, and that's because you can do all your previewing now within the playlist manager. So never fear, if the web view drops off your main menu, you can come into this area and go ahead and preview. Now, in both web view modes, you can find the current playlist loop time. So just like WebView, when you click anywhere in the pop-up or even in the new browser tab, you'll see all the same controls like play, pause, stop, and skip. And at the top, we've added, as you can see, you see the name of the preview, the playlist that you're previewing. The playlist loop time has moved into this area. And the reason being is that you can now switch locations and view the playlist as it would appear in different locations. Okay, so that time may change depending on which location you've picked. Because as we all know, slides can have tailored messaging. So you can have one slide and multiple playlists, but have differing messages show in different locations. And then the really cool part is that you can skip to a specific slide. So you'll see a list of all the slides currently in the playlist, and you can go ahead and jump around and skip straight to a slide. So cool, hey, I feel like there's heaps of applause coming, like I can't see it, but I'm sure you're all excited. Now heading back to the list view, some of you, you visual people, you may be wondering why one of these playlists is slightly faded. So I'm going to play a game with you. Please get involved and get ready to use the team chat. So let me expand the list view first to reveal the answer, but I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. So we've got the global web view. So if you can see the reason why this playlist may be faded, go ahead and pop your answer in the chat. And I'm going to reveal the answer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So if you guessed that this playlist is faded because it is not in use or it's not assigned to a location, tika tau, you're correct. If you've got your list set to view all playlists, you may see that some of your playlists are faded. Never fear, they're still there. And you can use the filtering to get a good overview of what's what. So if I turn off the in-use filter, I can see any playlists that are not in use and, maybe take them out of the portal or make them live. And then you've got your in-use view where you can see all the playlists that are currently in use across your locations. Very cool feature. Now, while we're on the topic of locations, this tool here is key for making sure you're sharing content in the right places. So at a glance, as you can see on screen, you can see where the playlist is currently showing. And if you open up the location manager, you'll also see other locations that are linked to another playlist. So before you decide whether to add this location in and start sharing this particular playlist, just make sure you check, is it already publishing content and, should you be updating it? Moving over to the right-hand side, permissions, or the manage permissions area lets you see which user groups have access to each playlist. It's super visible now and really easy to manage, much like the slide editor. So you can assign playlists to everyone or limit the access to specific user groups. And this can be done whether you switch over to the new SSO feature, single sign-on, or you stay with the current Vibe portal account manager. But I highly recommend that you do consider single sign-on. It's a much easier way to manage all of your users and the groups. Now, I mentioned earlier that Vibe has an inbuilt daypart scheduling tool that you can use to program your content. So if a playlist is linked to a schedule, you'll see the information here in the list view, and you can edit the schedule right here in the portal. So one, it will tell you which schedules that the playlist is connected to. And when you click on the schedule name, it'll open up the admin area where you can see, when it's scheduled to show and which days, etc. And you can also adjust that schedule right here. Now, as part of having full management in your portal, you can now create new playlists. Let me demonstrate the steps. Just added a brand new playlist called Screensaver. Ta-da! Welcome to the new look playlist editor. Let me show you around. Starting at the top, you can customize your avatar. You can access the same preview options that I demoed earlier. And you can see a slide tally, or see the slide tally update as you make changes to your playlist. Now, below that on the left-hand side, you'll see a list of the slides that you can add into your playlist. So we've combined what was previously in an add and edit tab into one editor, which is much easier from a visibility point of view. You can use the search and sort and filtering tools to get a better look at the content that you're wanting to add. So you've got much better visibility on if you're looking at adding some infotainment streams in, you can filter down and just see what infotainment is available to you. And also the professional programs that we at Vibe provide to you. So you'll see any that are currently covered under your plan. And you can also get a quick look at any content that's not currently in use that you may want to add in as well, or not in use. Now, when you start adding content, so I'll go ahead, you can use the arrow, click on that. But you'll note that we've kept all the same great features as well, so you can still drag and drop. And what you're seeing being built on the right-hand side is my actual playlist. So I'll go through, add some in. And we've got that same auto-save function happening that you've always had. So there's no save button when you're doing this. And drag and drop to get your set your ordering. So one part about, better visibility is you'll see again that, there's a few visual differences between the slides. So I'll just explain to you on the left-hand side, we've got some slides that are more grey and others that are white. And the difference being, if I use the filters, is that the grey ones, it's indicating to you that these slides are already in the playlist. Now you can add a slide multiple times, but it's just letting you know visually that the slide is already part of that playlist. So, it sort of saves you duplicating or doubling up if you're not intending to. But again, you can add a slide multiple times if you want a higher repetition and more focus on specific messaging. So that's the reason for the visuals on the left. And on the right-hand side, when you do add in a slide, you'll see here that some are faded and others are more full of opacity. So the faded ones, again, have a go in the chat and have a think about why that might be. And while I just focus in on this here, so when you choose to remove a slide from the playlist, it's not going to delete it permanently, it's just deleting it out of the playlist, okay? So hopefully we've got some correct answers as to why this slide is faded, but I'll go ahead and tell you. It's because currently this slide is set to publish every week on a Monday, and as we all know, today is not Monday. So it's part of the playlist, but now you can see at a glance whether or not it's actually going to be showing today. And likewise with the times, it may be that it's set to show every week on a Wednesday, but the time that it's set to end on the Wednesday may have passed. So it'll fade out so that you can see that it's not currently scheduled to be on screen. So when you've finished editing and updating your playlist, head back to the list view where we started. Okay, and here's where you can decide whether you keep this as a draft that you go live with later, or if you go live with it now. And to publish your new playlist to one or more locations is just a matter of opening up this location manager, selecting your top level so that all of the locations below that get assigned, or manually selecting the different locations that you want to send this out to. As soon as you see locations set in this area here, you know that your playlist is now live, and each of the different devices or web views that you've set up to connect to the playlist will start showing that content once they finish a full sync. And if you no longer need a playlist, you'll find editing tools in this menu, including an option to delete. It will warn you and let you know as a reminder, hey, that this playlist is currently associated. So just bear in mind that once you do disconnect a playlist, do set another one up to connect in, or be aware that the screen or the web view will start, it will just show a message saying there's no content to display. And lastly, as promised, I will definitely fix that spelling mistake. So right here in the editor, you just open that up, make your changes, and it's all fixed and lovely. And the other thing that I want to just focus in on, when you are looking at your playlist in the edit view, we now, as well as a slide tally, we will show you how many of each type of slide you're showing, and that will help you to get a really good balance. So in addition to the visual that shows you, how you're balancing out maybe your internal columns with infotainment streams, it will give you a tally of that at the top as well. And that, my friends, is the end of the sneak peek. Thank you again for tuning in. Have a wonderful day, everybody.